Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and apparently, though the name is blacked out, there's an assumption, well-founded, that it's Taylor Swift, her BFF.
It is disturbing, and I want to warn you, but I feel it's my responsibility to tell you guys because it is the truth. I know it's so devastating to hear this, and I'm really sorry to share this.
I came here today to say, as a man, that this is wrong, this is toxic, and it has to end.
Welcome back to Tea Time with Tina. Picture a high-stakes Hollywood drama, then toss in a bit of reality show flair, minus the roses, plus a few text messages calling people dragons. That's precisely the train wreck we're dealing with right now between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. You'd think filming a romantic drama like It Ends With Us would be all glamorous red carpets and heartfelt speeches, right? Wrong. Turns out these big names brought bigger egos, and now there's a lawsuit so large it might make your favorite courtroom soap opera feel underfunded. But here's the real kicker. The dragons in this saga aren't scaly mythical beasts breathing fire at nights. Nope, it's Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift, apparently swooping in to shield Blake from any disagreement, like watchful guard dogs. If those guard dogs had billion-dollar box offices and platinum albums, you couldn't make this stuff up if you tried. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because let's face it, we all got bills to pay. Now back to the drama. With these A-listers brawling in public and in court, everyone's pointing fingers and shouting, "No, you're lying!" One moment, it's all smiles at the premiere. The next, we're talking about nose job suggestions, shady group texts, and a legal battle worth more than the GDP of a small country. So buckle up, because the gossip swirling around this case might be wilder than any movie plot they've ever worked on. And if you thought Blake, Ryan, and Taylor were unstoppable, wait till you see Justin's receipts. It's about to get real, really fast. Now, you might be asking, how did we go from a romantic novel adaptation to a legal mudslinging match, complete with mythical beast references? Believe it or not, it all started when Justin Baldoni decided he'd had enough of what he calls unfair fire-breathing attacks from Blake's camp.
Blake Lively had conspired with the New York Times to make him look like this bad individual when really it was all Lively. Well, now he's put all of that in a lawsuit against Lively and, like you said, Ryan Reynolds, in which he says, hold on a second, it wasn't me orchestrating a smear campaign against Lively. It was actually Blake Lively, her husband, her PR team, coming at me because we had creative differences over the film.
And by camp, we mean her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and her best friend, Taylor Swift, the very people Blake jokingly referred to as her dragons.
Blake Lively says in a text message that she too has her dragons, Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift.
Apparently, Justin's not a fan of being charbroiled by Hollywood's power couple plus a pop superstar, so he fired back the only way celebrities do these days, by suing them for a whopping sum. We're talking accusations of civil extortion, defamation, and even invasion of privacy. It's like a soap opera wedding where someone stands up and yells, "I object," only to reveal they have a briefcase full of receipts and text messages. Think Game of Thrones meets a daytime court show, minus the medieval armor, and plus a whole lot of modern-day scandal. For a hot minute, everyone assumed this was just another gossip headline that would evaporate faster than an A-lister's public apology on social media. But then, Justin dropped detailed court documents, and suddenly it wasn't just a rumor. It was a 5-alarm Hollywood fire. Dragons or not, Blake and her crew found themselves in the spotlight, facing allegations that could reshape their carefully crafted images.
And that what in fact happened was Justin didn't harass Blake. Blake was interested in wresting control of this movie away from Justin, who was the director and the producer. She was just an actress in it, and used threats and coercion and bullying to do it.
And if you believe the whispers around town, this is only the beginning. Because hey, who needs dragons in a fantasy realm when you can unleash them in real life, right? Stay tuned, because next up we'll dive into just how deep these behind-the-scenes tensions went. And believe me, there's no shortage of drama when multi-million-dollar productions and bruised egos collide. If you thought the only drama involved in adapting It Ends With Us was the fictional kind, buckle up, because the real-life version might be juicier than the book itself. For starters, there's the eyebrow-raising fact that Blake Lively, the star of this adaptation, allegedly had no clue what actually happens in the novel. As in, she didn't just skim the synopsis. She basically jumped onto set without even cracking the cover.
Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
You'd think she'd at least read the back of the book before showing up. But hey, some people like living dangerously. While Blake was busy Googling, what color is Lily Bloom's hair, Justin Baldoni was slowly realizing he was on a roller coaster he never signed up for. According to him, things started going sideways the moment he hesitated on a last-minute script change. Suddenly, his phone lit up with messages from the power trio, Blake plus her dragons, Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift, urging him to just say yes to everything, as though he was about to get a free timeshare in a mystical land called Do It Blake's Way. In a normal world, you might expect, a polite conversation to settle any disagreements. Instead, Justin says he was bombarded with pressure tactics that left him wondering whether he'd signed on to make a movie or join some top-secret Hollywood loyalty cult. The tension was no longer a quiet undercurrent. It was like a full-on wave crashing at the shore, with everyone scrambling to save their reputations. From script rewrites to the alleged group text fiasco featuring Team Dragon, it was clear that nothing about this production was going to be simple. And if the pressuring and last-minute changes weren't enough, next up came the personal jabs and awkward on-set exchanges that sent this feud spinning way beyond typical creative differences. Looks like the real story of It Ends With Us could fill a second novel, except this time, the plot reads more like a chaotic reality show than a heartfelt romance. If you thought a dragon squad was the wackiest part of this story, think again. According to the latest court documents, things got really personal when Blake Lively allegedly suggested that Justin Baldoni should consider getting a nose job. Yep, you heard that right. In the midst of filming heartfelt emotional scenes, she apparently decided to dish out some unsolicited plastic surgery advice. Something like lights, camera, scalpel. Here's where it gets even more bizarre. While Blake claims Justin made a super creepy move by leaning in and whispering, "It smells so good," during a scene where there was no dialogue, Justin swears it never went down that way. In his version, she apologized for her strong spray tan. He said, "No worries," and that was that. So who's telling the truth? Did someone sniff a little too aggressively? Or is this just another example of cinematic drama meets good old Hollywood spin? What started as a few throwaway comments quickly escalated into a full-blown war of words. Before long, the tension spread like a social media rumor on a slow news day. Suddenly, everyone was chattering about who said what and who needs to get what fixed. Forget plot holes in the actual film. Apparently, the real battlefield was people's egos. And with each new allegation, it became increasingly clear that this was no mere on-set hiccup. This was shaping up to be a feud complete with lawyers, lawsuits, and more bruised feelings than a fruit stand during rush hour. But hold on, because there's more than just the nose job fiasco fueling this legal inferno. Next, we'll see how Blake's decisions involving a critical charitable cause and a particular boozy brand turned an already testy situation into an all-out public relations nightmare. Stay tuned. If you need popcorn, now's the time to grab it. If there's one thing more awkward than getting pestered about a nose job on set, it's being called out for questionable moves related to a domestic violence charity tie-in, especially when your movie is literally about survival and resilience in a harmful relationship. As part of the original deal, a percentage of the film's proceeds was supposed to benefit a well-known organization called No More, which focuses on ending DV and supporting survivors. Sounds great on paper, until you learn that, according to Justin, Blake absolutely refused to attend any meetings with them. It's like skipping the one mandatory team huddle when your entire project is about tackling the very issue the charity is fighting. Not a great look. But here's the real kicker. While ignoring that crucial aspect of her contract, Blake apparently had no problem weaving in her alcohol brand, Betty Booze, into the film's promotional rollout. Yep, because nothing says raising awareness like marketing cocktails at an event for a movie about abuse. To top it off, she reportedly christened one of the signature drinks after the film's flawed antagonist.
She's going on this press tour, pushing her liquor line.
A character associated with violence in the story. If you're picturing a scenario where people are casually sipping a Royale while talking about the serious themes the movie addresses, you're not alone. Let's just say the irony didn't go unnoticed by Justin or a whole lot of observers on social media. It's a PR nightmare in the making. A lead actress who won't meet with a cause directly tied to the film's message, yet is totally game to push high-end booze tied to her personal brand. According to Justin's side of the story, that contradiction gave him serious whiplash, and might just land Blake in hot water if she ever has to explain it all in court. Because if you thought bickering about script changes and personal insults was scandalous, wait till you see how the public reacts when charity advocacy collides with a cocktail promotion that seems to undermine the whole point of the movie. Talk about mixing your messages. Believe it or not, this scandalous circus didn't start with insults lawsuits, or dragon nicknames. In fact, Blake and Justin used to be practically BFFs, or so it seemed. Before the tension, they bonded over their mutual love of hot matcha. Yes, apparently that's a thing. And even traded supportive texts about each other's personal lives. At one point, Blake sweetly thanked Justin for his collaboration, and he even teased her with lines like, "I like sentimental Blake," which she found hilarious. If Hallmark made a "we're filming a movie together" greeting card, these two could have been on the cover. But somewhere between take one and the final cut, everything changed. Allegedly, Blake started to take control of every creative choice on set, from costume design to the orchestral score, leaving Justin feeling like a guest at his own party. According to Justin, she replaced top-tier professionals with her own picks, sometimes pulling Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift into the mix, which made Justin feel as if he were battling not one but a three-headed hydra of Hollywood clout. Adding another dash of absurdity, Blake and Ryan supposedly demanded that Justin publicly apologize for all his alleged mistakes on set, essentially read a statement they'd drafted. Picture a red carpet press conference where Justin steps up, reads a monologue titled, "I'm sorry for everything I didn't do," and then bows out. Yeah, that didn't happen. He refused, which only seemed to crank this feud's thermostat up another notch. Just when you think Hollywood can't possibly outdo itself, someone serves up a lawsuit so loaded with drama it makes a telenovela look tame. On one side, you have Justin Baldoni waving around receipts like he's hosting an infomercial for a scene in court products. On the other, you've got Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Taylor Swift, the so-called dragons, casually implying they can fire-breathe anyone into submission. It's a who's who of big names and big egos, sprinkled with text messages, alleged intimidation tactics, and more legal jargon than your Uncle Larry's Facebook rants after 3 cups of coffee. So what does this all mean for the rest of us? Well, we get free front row seats, via the internet of course, to a real-life saga that could reshape who calls the shots in Tinseltown. Is Justin about to emerge victorious, parading around with a $400 million check and a t-shirt that says, "I survived the dragons"? Or will Blake and her crew flip the script, dropping evidence so bombshell that it sends Twitter into a meltdown? At this point, nobody knows, and that's the million, or should we say hundreds of millions dollar question. One thing's for sure, this showdown is far from over. Court dates, new evidence, and cryptic Instagram posts could crop up faster than you can say, "nose job." And if you think you can predict how it'll end, remember, this is Hollywood, the land of surprise reshoots and top-secret twist endings. So strap in and keep those notifications on standby. After all, in a place where dragons are apparently real, who knows what mythological creature might pop up next? One thing's for sure, this showdown is far from over. Court dates, new evidence, and cryptic Instagram posts could crop up at any moment. And if you think you can predict how it'll end, remember, this is Hollywood, the land of surprise reshoots and top-secret twist endings. So strap in and keep those notifications on standby. After all, in a place where dragons are apparently real, who knows what mythological creature might pop up next? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay tuned, stay safe, and stay informed. Only on Tea Time with Tina.